What's up, and welcome back to another episode of AGX Comics. Today we're talking about Beast World Part 1. I'm just going to do these kind of in parts. That way I kind of, in this one I'll be covering Titans issue number 5 and Beast World number 1. And the following I'll do 2 and 3, and then maybe a final wrap up as part 3 for this event. So without further ado, let's talk about it. If you're new to these types of videos on my channel, which I know a lot of subscribers have came in, this is kind of where I talk about the current events that are going on in comics and also the overall big events, which are these. So this one is DC's Titans Beast World. And yeah, this is coming off of the events that happened through DC's Night Terror event with the lead up of Dr. Hate. So we're gonna, without further ado, let's jump in to part one. So in part one, we kind of get this wrap up to the ongoing story that started with the Titans' first issue, where if anyone's recalling, in the first issue we see Flash just dead at the new headquarters, right? So they have to go, or with an hour before he dies on the steps of the Titans' new tower. So this has been spanning for 5 issues, and honestly, I just have to say the way that they wrapped this up was kind of a little derpy, if to say the least. They just basically wrapped it up within a minute, and kind of just no biggie. So I'm like, all right, it's not really crucial to the event either, other than one of the basically the whole tie-in here was one of these creatures that Brother Eternity set to go after. I guess a plan was to kind of distract the heroes by killing the Flash, but they were reluctant, and Nightwing ended up basically stopping it right before they could do harm. Um, and then other, plot B in the story, we see the team replant and regrow a forest with an honorary member that would be Swamp Thing, which was kind of interesting. Um, Swamp Thing was in it. That's always cool. But kind of just like, oh, Beast Boy has, and Swamp Thing brought up a good point where Beast Boy's got to spread himself so thin over different animals. When an animal or a bug dies, a piece of Beast Boy goes with it, which was an interesting kind of take and kind of a good lead in, like a good background information on Beast Boy's character and like how his powers actually work. Because like a lot of you, and same with me, I'm not really a huge Titans fan. I like them, but not also like every issue know everything about them. So I was like, okay, that's a good piece of information. But we see the very last page of Titans number 5. Say we see Brother Blood or Brother Eternity, right, as he's going right now, to the probe's ready and the crew's ready for action. He was upset that they couldn't kill the Flash, so they're like, "Oh, we have to launch the probe now." Next up, we have Titans Beast World number 1. So, in this one, it was a little bit of a bigger issue, and as far as Titans 5, I consider that a key or a core issue. There was the or Tales of the Titans Beast World number 404 that was before the Titans number 5, but I honestly didn't really think that was a huge, if any, kind of key significance to the story, other than focusing in on Beast Boy and his background. But nonetheless, let's talk about the first Titans Beast World number 1. So in this, we have Brother Eternity, where he launches his crew, as left the last book, to a far off planet and has these two watching, kind of like he's got like kind of a streaming thing where like everyone's kind of like watching these astronauts go into space. And they land on this planet. I forgot what the planet's name was, but they go to this far planet, and as they come up to this thing, the astronauts are like, "Hey, this something's here with us. Like, what the hell is this?" And Brother Eternity is like, "Oh, make sure. Can you hear me?" Blah blah blah. And he starts speaking in like almost like a tongue, but it's like an ancient language, right? And what it is it's being broadcasted to everyone on Earth. It turns out that Starfire calls out that, "Hey, this is an ancient Tamaranian," which I guess is Starfire's Starfire's, people. So, as he's doing this, he's kind of awakening something, and he awakens a imprisoned conqueror, which is like this huge necrostar. And the thing is huge. This thing is like as big as a continent, which if you could kind of like put yourself into perspective, that's a pretty big threat, right? So I was like, okay, that's cool. We got a giant freaking monster that's on its way towards Earth. So while this happened, the Titans go to try to initially save the astronauts, but what they realize is that's when they kind of figure out that it's this Conqueror, this Necrostar. And basically, Starfire is like, hey, we need to get the hell out of here because the Necrostar is coming for Earth, and we need to plan or prep or come up with some kind of plan to defeat this, right? So they go from that far off planet and stop fighting it, and they go back. Beast Boy's got this plan, right? As Starfire kind of tells the background of like, how these stars came to be and how her people imprisoned this Necrostar in like this like this planet, and obviously something has it's awakened it or escaped it. Beast Boy is like, "Hey, you got to trust me. I have a plan." And they're like, "All right, we're going to go with Beast Boy's plan." And basically, Beast Boy's plan in a nutshell is to take on the form because the Necrostar is technically a creature, so it could kind of go around into Beast Boy's background where he could like transform into that creature essentially, right? And he's like, "Hey, I'll take on the creature as it is, and then it'll buy us enough time for Cyborg to boom tube it into another area of the galaxy, aka like a frozen area to kind of kill this thing." So, as the plans, taking steam, we see them prepping for it. Cyborg and Beast Boy go up there. You basically Cyborg or Beast Boy turns into the Necrostar, and as they're going to shoot it, we hear Cyborg say prepping the boom tube. Boom, we see the blast, and we see now this is Beast Boy in the Necrostar form, just cry out like, Cyborg, where are you at? Like kind of like, we did it, right? Like we defeated this thing. And we see a appearance of Dr. Hate, which is kind of crazy to think that I'm like, wait, so his powers could also be in space. I'm like, okay, like whatever. We'll just I don't know what he is, and no one knows, and that's the big mystery, right? And he actually does reveal himself to Beast Boy, but we don't actually see it in the panel. We just kind of see like Beast Boy saying, "You how?" Like kind of like like, "Oh my God, it's the person." Almost like the like a meme, like, "Oh, it's you, of course. How did we not know? It's the insert guy here." And so obviously they're keeping that reveal secret, and I understand why, because it does build up a suspense of who the hell this person is, and it's going to be probably cool whoever it's going to be. But so from that point, he says, Cyborg has been put to sleep, and basically we didn't launch the Necrostar into orbit or into a far off space. We it's you who are there, right? And basically, you can't do anything, Beast Boy. And Beast Boy's kind of like having this moment. And while we kind of like pan over back to what's happening on Earth, the Necrostar is still hovering around Earth, kind of making this like, what the hell? And it's weird because the Necrostar is sending what I could bet, I don't know what the actual name is, but it's almost like spores of the Necrostar onto Earth to try to infect the people, and it does infect Shazam, right? So I think Shazam's going to be playing a big part into book number two, but I haven't read book number two. I do have it, but I'm going to do two and three as a combo thing for the series. So if you like these kind of videos, do me a huge favor. Please like and subscribe below. I used to do these videos a lot, so if you're new here on the channel, this is also something I do on the side as well, collecting back issue comics. If you're into that, there's plenty of videos on my channel. Please go check those out because you'll definitely love those. And yeah, until next time. Talk to you later.